There is one game we all play, and that game is called real life. Not everyone is good at it, but some of us are. Real life is an open world game with endless possibilities. And after all, only the uncultured spend their day-to-day life in just one country. So join me in my life of leisure as I explore the best games for the handheld around the world. I have now found myself in Las Vegas in the Nevada desert. This city is world famous for its vibrant nightlife centered around 24-hour casinos and other entertainment options. The word many would associate with this place is fun, but to me, everywhere I look, all I can see in front of me is corporate greed and gluttony. So on that note, today we are going to look at Wario Ware Inc., a fun game about the gluttonous, greedy Mario doppelganger, Wario. We already looked at the first handheld Wario game on the Game Boy Wario Land a few months ago, which I presented from Miletos Cave in Greece. Wario Land, released in 1993, is an awesome entry in the Game Boy library. However, I do not think Wario hit the same high in the Game Boy department until another 10 years later when Wario Ware Inc. was released in 2003. I first heard about Wario Ware Inc. reading an issue of the official Nintendo magazine. Reading about the concept of the game just seemed so bizarre to me. I was looking at the screenshots of the game and could see images of the NES Legend of Zelda game and Super Mario Bros. Etc. And apparently these screenshots, along with the entire game, mainly consisted of 3-second minigames. 3 bloody second minigames, I thought? How on earth would that bloody work? How could you play games in just 3 seconds? My interest was certainly piqued from the get-go. A mix of familiar imagery combined with what sounded like an original gameplay concept made WarioWare Inc. a must-purchase for me. Summer 2003 came around and I was finally 17 years old, and then I decided to go off to Greece on my own to work for the summer. At the airport on the way, I made some bloody fantastic purchases so that I could game whilst I was away. I bought myself a newly out Game Boy Advance SP, which finally brought an end to constantly replacing batteries, and amazingly, the Game Boy finally had a backlight, so I could enjoy my advanced games on the go anywhere I liked. Let me try and think of some of the games I bought for this trip. Pokemon Ruby, Link to the Past, Sonic Advance 2, Yoshi's Island, just to name a few of them. What a summer that year was, and that was just the gaming side of things. It felt great to finally be a man, and a man who could legally drink. Yeah, the fine wines had begun. Out of these legendary titles in which I received that summer, no game drew me in further or encouraged me to invest more playtime into it than that of WarioWare Inc. Okay, let's talk about this portable masterpiece. The basic concept of WarioWare Inc. is that you essentially play through the game by competing in 3 to 5 second micro games in rapid succession. If you have never tried this one, it sounds absolutely ludicrous, eh? But overall the premise is very simple. These 3 to 5 second mini games usually just consist of moving with the D-pad or timing a press of the A button. Or sometimes, if the game really wants to push the boat out, both. There are well over 200 of these individual micro games, which will ensure that you will have plenty of variety as you go along indulging in this lunacy. The game starts out extremely simple, catching a piece of toast, jumping over a shark and jumping on Goombas. It is all very reflex based to ease you in. But as you progress through the game, it doesn't let you get off so easily. You will essentially have an endless gauntlet of selections of minigames, and the longer you survive in each character's level, the faster and more difficult the micro games will become. Soon, you'll have to dodge cars that may jump instead of driving straight, or you'll have to jump on 2 or 3 Goombas instead of 1. Also, the longer you survive through this process, the quicker you will have to complete these minigames. The sheer variety of the game and the eternally increasing amount of difficulty will keep you on your toes and playing this one. This makes the game challenging for players of all skill levels. As you progress through the game and rack up good scores in various characters group of micro games, for extra incentive you will also receive unlockable content. Unlockables include both a full version of Dr. Mario and Nat Attack from Mario Paint. These are entire games within a game, giving the game even more replayability. There's so much to bloody love about this game, I can't even begin to describe some of it. As I said, the whole concept for this game is just bizarre, and it is something you really must see and try for yourself. By the time 2003 came around, it was already rare to see completely fresh concepts in gaming, but WarioWare Inc. managed to deliver originality in spades. So now, let's break the game down even further. Like the gameplay of WarioWare Inc., it is just as difficult to try and describe the graphics. I suppose the best way to summarise is both fun and absurd. I really couldn't call the graphics good, nor could I call them bad. However, they do have a unique look that complements the image of the game perfectly. Most of these 3-second mini-games look, well, how can I say, cheap and tacky looking, I suppose. This often odd and ridiculous art style, I suppose, makes WarioWare Inc. an even more amusing and surreal experience. Some of these mini-games are presented as black and white drawings, others are simply and purposely poorly animated, whilst others harken back and occasionally reuse imagery from well-loved NES games. All of this oddness blends together well and adds to the game's quirky experience. The music and sound of WarioWare Inc. is just as unforgettable as the rest of the game. The sounds of WarioWare Inc. is an all-out assault on the senses. Character voiceovers complement the in-game action that is laced with crazy sporadic music and bizarre sound effects, which all fit each different minigame perfectly. Some of the mad music in this game even has bloody lyrics to it. I'll shut up for a minute so you can bloody hear some of it. Something else of note regarding the music is that you will notice it speeds up in sync with the quickness of each minigame, resulting in it all becoming even more odd sounding. A little extra thing I have not touched on is that amongst all the sections of minigames, there also is what the game calls boss sections of the game. These boss sections are longer minigames that last longer than the 3 to 5 second minigames that are the bulk of the game. Every time you beat one of these boss levels for the first time, you unlock a whole new collection of other minigames. So, that was WarioWare Inc. for you. It is a game that not only offers instant action, but also unlimited replayability. The game is a bizarre all-out attack on all the senses, and the originality and creativity of this game are second to none. Its bizarreness for me was one of the gaming highlights of 2003 and overshadowed other games around that time period for me that others often rave about these days, such as the Wind Waker and Pokemon Ruby. Those games may have been okay, but it was nothing I hadn't already seen before. WarioWare, on the other hand, was fresh and brilliant. Anyway, now you should go off and enjoy some microgame madness for yourself. I, on the other hand, am off to enjoy a succulent Chinese meal. Ta-ta and farewell! Thank you for watching today's episode, and a massive thank you to my patrons for supporting this channel. Part of my Patreon reward scheme is that I credit people and give them shoutouts at the end of my videos. So, a huge shout out to Jarrett Tolzian and Mad 8 Productions. Also, this club is getting bigger, as you can see from this list. So I'll shout out Peter Sidorn and Andreas Larsson. Thank you all so much for your support. Yeah!